Hello, good afternoon to everyone. Welcome to Unacademy, which is the biggest online education platform for placements as well as GATE Computer Science and IT. Myself, Mallesham Devasani, here I'm going to take the second session on C programming interview questions, and we will have another session on tomorrow, same timing. Okay, today I'm going to talk about few other important questions which were asked and which will be possible to ask again in coming interview questions, which are very important for the placements. So before starting the session, let me introduce myself. If anybody is joining new today, please let me introduce myself. I've studied MTech from IIT Bombay. Before that, I have cracked the GATE multiple times, and then now I have 12 years of teaching experience in GATE and more than 3 years of experience in training for the placements. And now I'm going to take the classes here, TOC, compiler and programming. If anybody is interested to take the subscription on Unacademy, please use the code DEVALIVE to get 10% discount on Unacademy. And also the price is going to hike soon from the next week. So please hurry to join if you are interested for Unacademy subscriptions. Okay, you have there is a crash course for the GATE Computer Science, which was started on 5th October and with the discrete mathematics, computer organization and C language. So we have the specific timings for the crash course on GATE for GATE. Please you can attend. And placement training is also started on this channel for computer science and other branches too. But this placement training is common for all IT companies, where you can join these classes. If doesn't matter, electrical, electronics, mechanical, civil, instrumentation, any branch of engineering can join this placement training classes. So we have started with data structure and C programming in the beginning. So now I'm taking C programming at 1 p.m. on every Saturday and Sunday. Okay guys, so these are the various free classes that I take on Unacademy. More than 300 hours of content I have already delivered on Unacademy free classes. You can go and watch them, but visit my profile to access those classes, www.unacademy.com/devagatecsc. Okay, once you join on this Unacademy, you can access all my free classes. So without subscription also you can access those classes. But what are the benefits if you take the plus subscription? That you will have live classes and live quizzes and tests and crash courses, doubt clearing courses, as well as rank improvement batches. You will have daily practice problems and previous year questions, and various courses are available on Plus. And all the Plus courses are structured, so you will know the beginning and end date of the classes. You can attend every day as per the mentioned timing. And these are the advantages of the Plus. And Iconic is another subscription plan where you will have all the content which is available on Plus is available to Iconic, and also additionally you will be having a personal coach and study plan and expert guidelines. If you look at the plans, for 1 year plan I'm talking about, for 1 year plan Plus you will have 22,500 after applying the code DEVALIVE. Similarly, Iconic you have 40,500 after applying the code DEVALIVE. So these are the two subscription plans I'm talking about, Iconic and Plus. Okay, if you are interested, you can contact me or you can directly take the subscription by using the code DEVALIVE. Okay, if you are going to use DEVALIVE code, I'm going to guide you that how to prepare for the GATE and how to manage the time, and I will guide you throughout your preparation. So you have various payment methods like credit, debit card and net banking. Also you have no cost EMI facility. And these are the subscription plans and details of the free and plus courses that we conduct on Unacademy. Okay, we have a Facebook group. You can join GATE Aspirants Facebook group to get the regular updates from us. This is our Telegram channel link. You can access this one, Unacademy GATE CS Telegram channel, to get the material and notifications from us. Okay, let's begin, guys. So before that, please share all these YouTube channels, which are free YouTube channels for all the engineering students. You can share with your friends if anybody wants to prepare. Okay, guys, now let's begin. Please like this session if you are watching this video, and also subscribe if you have not done it, and also share. Okay, let's begin today's say hi something, because I'm not able to see any chat from you. Okay, so now let me begin the first question, that is, what is a null pointer, and what are the what is the advantage of null pointer, and of course disadvantage is also there. So what is null pointer? If this question comes in interview, how do you answer it? So let me explain that what is a null pointer. It's a very important type of the pointer. This is the preferred one. Suppose you are declaring a pointer which is pointed to an integer. If you declare it, there is a possibility of accessing without having an address, right? You might be doing like star p is equal to 100. This will give you error. You know that it will give you runtime error, which is very dangerous. Compiler cannot catch it. So what we do to avoid this one, we can do something. Yeah, hi Mohit, Arpit. What we do is star p, in p we assign null, and then before accessing the value at that p, what we do, if p not equal to null, then you can do star p is equal to 100, so that we can say avoid that runtime error. We can avoid that runtime error if you access the value at p, that star p, right? If you can access that location by after checking whether p has null or not. So what is null here? The null is a constant that is macro. It's a macro defined constant. So what in generally, if you don't want to use that macro constant, you have other kind of declaration. You can do that. Int star p. If you don't want to use the null, you can also do, you can convert to the address, that is 0. Then what happens? 0 converts into the address, integer address basically. Yeah, you can write that in place of null. You can also do the typecasting. You can also typecast the 0. So basically null defines address 0. You know that in all the systems 0 is not accessible to the user, right? Nobody can access that 0, right? So nobody can update that 0 location, okay, which you don't have the permission. Maybe you can read, but you don't have the permission to update. Yeah. So this is the advantage, and there is a disadvantage of null pointer. What is the disadvantage, guys? After doing this also, if without checking, if you do that directly, if you do without checking the p not equal null, then what happens, guys? You also get an error. Directly, if you are doing star p is equal to 100, something like that, again this will generate runtime error. But this runtime error can be avoided by putting a condition. If p is equal to null, we can't access that, but if p not equal to null, we can update that. Okay, so we can avoid runtime error by checking. So that is the advantage of null pointer. Is it clear, guys? So what is the null pointer? A pointer pointing to nothing, 0 address, is called a null pointer. And you can use char star p is equal null, or int star p is equal null, something like that. So null is going to automatically converts, right? 0. Fine. Now let's move to I will be taking from the Monday, Arpit. The crash course will continue from Monday because of, in Hyderabad there is a flooding, and we don't have a power. So I was not able to take the classes for last 2 or 3 days. So I'll be continuing the classes from the Monday, right? So that C programming will continue from Monday, same timing. All right. And distinguish between the malloc and calloc memory allocation functions. You know, these two functions are used to create the memory on heap region. Everybody knows that, right? So malloc and calloc, two functions which will help us. These two are functions which will help us to create memory on heap region. Basically, when you use malloc function, it will create a memory. Let's say I want to create, let's say, malloc of, let's say, 10. What happens if I do this? And 10 bytes will be created. 10 bytes will be created. And p, if it is, let's say, int star p, then p will point to this address, but it will assume it is pointing to the size of integer only. But when you increment, it will go to other location. Okay, now by default, this is going to be garbage. The values at that heap content by default garbage if you create the memory using malloc. But if you use calloc is going to create certain blocks. Maybe, you know, if I say calloc, I'm saying, let's say, a, then let's say size of integer, let's say size of int. So I'm going to create, even you can say here a is 4 here, let's say 4. 4 means I'm going to create 4 elements. And I'm going to return, let's say, p. So p will point to this one, and I'm going to create the 4 blocks. Each block is size of integer. Let's say size of integer is 2 bytes. Then 2 bytes is going to create 4 times. It will assume 4 consecutive blocks are there. By default, initially the values are 0. By default, the memory created by calloc, by default all values are 0. So this is the main difference. Malloc creates all size as a 1 block, but calloc is going to create all the size that you have created is a consecutive blocks. These are going to be consecutive blocks. It's going to be single block. You decide how to access that single block. Okay, this is the main difference between malloc and calloc. Okay, let's move to the next question. Before that, both allocates memory from heap area, which is called as dynamic memory, where user can handle explicitly allocation and deallocation. By default, calloc fills the memory with zeros. Clear this point? And total, if you want to know about functions, guys, there are, you know, so many functions are there. Among them, few important functions to allocate and deallocate. We have 4 dynamic memory functions, right? These 2 are used for allocation. These 2 are used for this one for reallocation, resize, and this is to make a free deleting that memory which you have allocated completely from the system. Okay. Now let's move to the next question. And very basic question, guys. I have seen most of the people not able to answer the question, what is a variable in a programming language? So many definitions for the variable, guys. What is a variable? There is a lot to know about variable, guys. You know, variable is identifier, no doubt. It is an identifier. Why we use this identifier? It is basically a name given to a memory location, some memory, right? Like int x, char y, float z. There are actually the memories where memory you can't access directly. So the system gives a name, and that name we are going to use. And what else we have? about variable. Variable will have a type. Without a type, the compiler will not allow you to. So variable we will use associated with some data type when you declare. So variable will have a declaration as well as definition. And what is declaration definition? I'm going to talk about that in another question. And variable will have, it can be local or global. I have the questions for them. Local or global variable, and it will be associated with some storage class, like you may have static, auto, register, extern. All I'm talking about just variable, guys. If you want to understand one variable, there are so many things. Basically variable is also represents data. Anybody want to deal with data, you require variable. It represents the primitive data, basic data basically. It's all just about variable. I have 100 variables, in the sense I am dealing with 100 types of data in my system. Everybody, guys, so this is about a variable, and very important question in the placements. If you're not able to answer what is a variable, it's a very difficult to go further. Okay. Let's move other type of questions. I have local, global, other storage classes definitions too. I'll discuss them. Can we assign float variable to long integer variable? Yes, you can do it. You can do it. But what happens when you do that? Right, long and float, if you do that, assume that long also has the same size, long integer. Right, 4 bytes you assume. If assume integer is 2 bytes, then what happens if you do that, guys? That fractional part can be lost and the remaining will be assigned. So if float and long or integer long will have the same size, then you definitely can assign the long integer to float. But there are problems we have. You should understand the system. Int x, let's say float y 20. Here I can do y is equal x, no doubt, because y either will have equal size to x or will have more size than x. So in that sense, the x is a smaller size or equal size to the y, you can assign. But be careful when you do long int long x is equal 10. Integer is optional, guys. Then float y 20. So long integer. So if you are doing y is equal x, is allowed if long and float are equal size. It is allowed. Sorry, 20.0. You need to assign float. That's okay. 20.0, let's say, because the float. Even you can assign 22, but 20.0, okay. It is allowed by compiler if x and y are same size. Okay, even x is equal y, now it is allowed, but this time the fractional part is ignored, and now x can be bigger size. Now this time x can be equal or bigger size. You can assign float to long, long to float. But when you assign float to long, the fractional part is deleted. X can be equal or bigger size. So there are two kinds of declaration here. Y is equal x and x is equal y. So here this question is about assigning a float variable to the long integer variable. That means you are assigning the float data to the long. The long can be equal or bigger. In that sense, the fractional part can be lost. Fine, don't worry much about it. The reason only because we have the float has a decimal point that cannot be stored in the integer. Okay, decimal values. Okay, next one. 068 is a valid octal number or not? So most of the people are having confusion when somebody talking about the octal number. Int, let's say x is equal 068. So you know 068 represent octal, but this is 8 is not a digit of octal. 0 represent what? Octal, but 8 is not a octal digit. Not octal digit, guys. Then what should I do? The compiler produces an error. How? In which phase? The lexical analysis itself of the compiler. Lexical analysis of the compiler, it starts with 0, it understands the octal number, so it's trying to read as an octal that 0 to 7 digits only there, but 8 is invalid octal digit, so lexical analysis of compiler can detect this. So it's going to be kind of compiler error, right? So it is invalid, it will generate a compiler error, that is also by lexical analysis, guys. Because the first phase of the compiler knows about this error. So it is the compiler error, no doubt. If some compilers are ignoring that, that means they might be assuming it is integer constant. So be careful with such compilers. What is the return value of the relational operator if returns anything? Okay. Relational operator, guys. You know what are the relational operators we have? Relational operators. See, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, and equal to, and not equal to. So all these operators, what do they do, guys? If I do 2 less than 3. Okay, let me write to understand these values. Let me write a printf. Printf percentile, let's say d 2 less than 3. Just try to understand what are the values will be printed. 2 less than or equal to 3. Let's say 2 greater than 3. Greater than or equal to 3. Similarly, we can use another relational operator 2 double equal to 3. And similarly, I can use direct value, I can print it 2 not equal to 3. So what value is returned by that? 2 less than 3 is a true, so it will return 1. 2 less than or equal to 3 is also true, so it returns 1. So 1 will be printed, guys. Here 1 is output, here also 1 is output. Here 2 greater than 3 fails, it's a false, so it will return 0. It will print 0. 2 greater than or equal to 3, it fails condition, so it's a returns false, 0. Yeah, 2 double equal to 3 is a false, so it returns 0. And 2 not equal to 3, it is correct, so it returns 1. Look at, guys, what are the values printed by? What are the values printed by? Everyone? Okay, so these are the relational operators, and what the return values are is either 0 or 1. 0 for false, 1 for true. So basically we have two values, true and false, for return values of the relational operator. Okay, now how does bitwise operator XOR works? And I've discussed in the C programming too. I'm discussing as an interview question. XOR operator we represent with this symbol, guys. So suppose you are assigning like this. What is the internal meaning of 2 exclusive or 3? Right? So it's a bitwise operator. So 2 will be converted to 0, 0, 1, 0. Remaining all are zeros, no doubt. So I'm taking 1 by to understand. What is 3, guys, here? 0, 0, 1, 1. And what is XOR logic? Everybody knows XOR logic in digital logic. So 0, 0 is 0, 0, 1 is 1. Okay, better not to use this one. Let me use XOR in digital logic. And 1 is 0. Right? If both are same, it will return 0. Both are same, it will return 0. If both are different, it returns 1. So 1, 0 is 1. And 1, 1 is 0. Remaining all are 0 because they are same bits. So result is going to be 1. X is 1 after this. Which is easy, but just you should know how to apply the exclusive OR operation. Correct, guys? How does bitwise operator XOR works? If both bits are same, it will return 0. If not same, then it will return 1. Okay. What are the and also sometimes I forgot to ask the question. Suppose I have the question x is equal to y exclusive OR 0. Then this is same as x is equal to y only, guys, because result depends on the whatever the value that you have taken as y. And if y is 0, result is 0. Y is 1, result is 1. Everyone, guys? So all the bits of y is going to depend on the 0 only. Okay, now there is another one, x is equal to y exclusive R1. What is the meaning of this? What will it return? What will it return? Only last bit of y will be verified. Remaining definitely we are not verifying. Last bit of y. Last bit of y. Suppose if it is 1, the result will be 0. Result will be 0, guys. If the last bit is 0, result is 1. That means last bit of y is 0 or 1 will be checked. That is last bit of 0, it means even. If y is even, x is 1. X is going to hold 1. If y is odd, y is odd, then last bit is 1, then 1 exclusive R1 is 0. So x is going to be 0. It's going to check indirectly whether y is even or odd. So x will have a 1 if y is even, x will have a 0 if y is odd. So it's just going to check if condition. It's just going to be equivalent to. It's just going to be equivalent to like this, no? If y mod 2 is equal to 0, this means even. Indirectly what we are checking here, even, x is equal to 1. Right? Indirectly it's happening now. You can do that. Okay? Fine. So what are the valid places for the keyword break to appear? Have you seen that so many statements we may use the break? What is the purpose of the break in C programming, guys? Break. There are two places. One we can use inside the switch. Second, we can use inside any loop. Okay. In the switch, if you use the break, suppose you are writing the statement switch, let's say expression and case 1, you have some statements, you have written a break. What is the purpose of that break, guys? If you are going to execute this break anytime, that it will transfer the control to the outside the switch. The break going to help us. Break transfers the control to the next statement after the switch, to the next statement just after the switch. If you don't have the break, it can execute the next statement which is there in the switch. Okay, that is same thing for loop. So what happens if you are doing in loop? So we have a while some condition, let's say E, and you have written break anytime, and you have some other statements here. Then what happens here? The break is going to transfer the control to the outside the loop directly. By ignoring, this will not be executed. The statements are ignored. It will not allow to execute. So directly transfers the control to the outside the loop. Outside the loop, right? If there are many loops, one within other, then it will only transfers the control to the present loop. Okay, it will transfer the control to this loop outside only. Yeah. Correct, Rahul. Yeah, correct. So that is the advantage of break. Now what is, how to represent the negative integer in C programming? right? Any negative integer that you represent, it will be stored in the form of 2's complement. That's the most important point, guys. All constants, all integers are stored in 2's complement form. When all data, you can say that all integers are stored in 2's complement form. The positive numbers, we don't have any problem, but negative numbers, you need to do 1's complement plus 1, right? If you have, like as I said, -5, what is the -5? First 5 you need to represent in a binary. Let's say that is 1 0 1. This is the binary, and remaining all bits are 0, and that you need to do 1's complement. This is the 5, and 1's complement of 5 is going to be all these ones, and 1 0 1 0, and then you add plus 1. You have to do plus 1. You have to do, so that will become, this is a -5 representation, right, guys? So I've used here 4-bit representation to show that what is -5. Okay, here I have shown 8-bit representation. Yeah. Now this is the one of the important question, guys. This is one of the important question. We can write two things, guys. Which one you can recommend to increment the value 1 and y. So let me write x plus plus, and x is equal to x plus 1. And most of the people are not aware of this advantage of that post and pre increment or decrement. And when we are implementing the compiler, what happens? This code is converted into 3 address code, and then assembly code, then machine code, right? Then in the compiler, this is treated as assignment statement. Assignment statement. But this is increment statement. So what happens? This directly it can be replaced with, in assembly code, INC. In assembly code we can do that, but here it is addition. This assignment looks like, you have addition and then move, so you require add and then move. Maybe required move is required or not, that system will decide, but add is going to be costlier than increment. Increment you just require 1 register, but addition you require 2 registers. So addition is costlier than increment, and increment is cheaper than addition. Everybody, guys? Yeah. This is the main difference between that. We always recommend, if you really want to add with 1, it's better to recommend. This can save our time during execution. Okay, this is the cheaper. The x plus plus is cheaper at runtime. It's a little bit costlier. So compiler may replace or not, we don't know, but the x plus plus, when we are informing to the compiler, then the compiler can do very easily. It can talk about increment assembly instruction, it can replace with that. But x is equal to x plus 1 is costlier. Okay, that's why the s plus plus is very interesting statement for the compiler. Okay, what is L value and R value? This is the problem that we have, guys. So what is L value and R value? And just now I told you x is equal to x plus 1. Here the compiler treats as, it's not just increment, it will treat as this is L value, because assignment, this is R value. And L value must be variable. This must be variable, and it should not be a constant. You can't write a constant. Okay, you can write any expression too, but expression should have the particular layout. If it is not a simple variable, expression is okay. Expression is okay, but it should not be a constant. R value, anything is fine, any expression is fine, but it should be type compatible. Now what's happening here? The R value is going to be an expression, or L value is also an expression, but R value you can use anything that should be compatible with L value, and L value either it can be variable or an expression, but you should define the memory location because you are going to store, but you can't do something like 6 is equal X is not allowed, but X is equal 6 is allowed. Right here 6 is a constant. This is not allowed at all. Everyone guys, in compiler you should know how to use L value or R value of an assignment. This statement is basically assignment. This is assignment statement. Every assignment statement will have L value and R value. Okay. So now another kind of interview question, explain the use of comma operator. So most of you may or may not aware of this comma operator. Let me explain about the comma operator. You can use X is equal 1 comma 2 comma 3. Now what is the meaning of this X is equal 1 comma 2 comma 3 guys? It is same as equal has more precedence. It is going to evaluate like this. This is equal to X is equal 1 first, then 2, then 3. So it's going to evaluate left to right. Before that equal has highest precedence, then it follows left to right. So when you have this statement X comma Y comma Z, what is the meaning of this one? X semicolon Y semicolon Z semicolon. And comma basically separates the two statements, but it is a compound now. Now I can also write two printf statements, printf C comma printf Java. When you do that, the comma automatically separates to the output will be C Java. So it will be treated as. So this is the internal meaning of the codes guys. Internal meaning of the code. Your comma is basically going to separate the two statements, but the effect you can see as an output only. C Java. So first C will be printed, then Java. But you should know about comma. Comma basically is the lowest operator. If you look at in our precedence table, C is the lowest precedence compared to anyone. It has the lowest precedence compared to all operators. And this comma follows left to right precedent, left to right associativity. If there are many comma symbols, it will follow left to right associativity. So these are the important points of comma. If you look at that, the printf I comma printf hello. So what it prints? First I will print, then hello, because it follows left to right associativity. Two or more expressions can be separated with the help of comma. Okay, this is one more problem where the mod operator, the modulus operator, the people may use for the float, that's real values, real numbers. Basically this is not allowed for a modulus. So you can use for integers, negative and positive numbers, it's okay, but you can't use, nobody can be the float or real values. They should be integers only. Only integer values can be used. Right? So remember that guys, a modulus cannot be used for the float operands. Right? When you are writing x mod y, here x must be integer. This is also integer. Positive or negative is okay. Positive or negative is okay. But x and y cannot be float. This should not be, never be float. Okay. Now let's move. How many operators are there under the category of ternary operators? So if you look at, they may ask what is the ternary operator and how that works. They can ask anything about. I just written here how many operators, but you know that operator, conditional operator, is only one operator, that is a ternary operator, also called as conditional operator. Conditional operator. Yes, we have the symbol, the question mark and colon. Everyone, So now how to use this? We can use so many ways. Just I'm trying to tell you two ways. Two ways I'm trying to help you. The first one, let's write int x is equal 1, y is equal 2, z is equal 3 and comma a. So I can write something like a x question mark y colon z. Then if I print a, I will get some value here. What is that? This is a one way. Here x is 1. 1 means true here. True means it will execute y. Y value is 2. 2 will be stored in a. So it will print 2. The output is 2. Sometimes you may write without any expectation from the statements of the conditional, like okay, printf Java. So now what is going to be output? What is going to be output now? This returns 0 because I have not written any character inside. Assume that there is no space also in between. So assume that there is no space also. It's just a empty string. It's just empty string. Then it's a false because it returns 0. Number of characters printed on the screen 0. So false means it's going to be here because here colon is there. So this is a true part. First one is a true part. Print C is the true part and print Java is the false part. So it's going to give you Java as an output. And this is how we can use the conditional operator. Everyone, guys? Yeah. So what is a preprocessor? Preprocessor is maybe that module is available within the compiler, but preprocessor functionality is different from the compiler. So preprocessor is actually a directive, preprocessor command to the compiler to perform certain task, which is related to the preprocessing. What is that preprocessing? You have preprocessor is also a program, a function, a module. What it does is when you have a commands like #include or #define, there are conditional also #if, #endif, and so on. And what is each one here, guys? This is to include the file, because you might be dealing with external files. If you want to include the file, then you must inform to the preprocessor so that the linker will link at the end after the compilation. So to include the certain files like stdio.h or your own file, you want to include within, you want to link with the actual C program, then you need to use it. This is to define macro constant. To define a macro constant. Okay, you might be using some kind of constant here, like #define max 100. So wherever you use the max is called as constant, and 100 is called as any expression that you can write here. What it does, that anywhere you see max, that will be replaced by an expression that you have given in this macro. So before compilation, this is going to happen. So compiler doesn't know about max because preprocessor already replaces that max with 100. Okay, so every constant, that every max is going to be replaced with 100 as it is without evaluating. Similarly, we have conditional macros. If you want, you can define them inside the C program. So this all preprocessor directives are going to be invoked by preprocessor before compilation starts. That is before compiler begins. Yeah. So this is about preprocessor. It's preprocessor uses some directive commands. Any statement which in C language, guys, any statement which begins with #, any statement which begins with #, any statement which begins with # is preprocessor command in C language. You can call preprocessor directive. Okay, so this is about preprocessor. What is the functionality, what preprocessor does? Okay, so there is one more confusion to the people. Does built-in header file contains built-in function definition? Do you know something about header file and function declaration? That's maybe prototype you can call, and function definition and function call. You know guys, you might be dealing so many things here. You should be very careful. And there is another one you may or may not aware of, that is a library file. If it is already like built-in function, let me talk about printf. Printf, it is already built-in function. So when you call printf, C program, what is actually happening here? This printf declaration is present in there's a prototype present in stdio.h. What is stdio.h? Is a header file. Everyone, but its definition, the whole body of the printf is present in library file, but that is going to be linked by the linker that will be executed at runtime. Definition present in library file. That you are not aware of that, where is the definition? Everyone, it's linked by linker. Linker is going to take care of it. Linker resolves this file. Linker resolve this file when to link. So there is a linking time after compilation. After compiler job is over, we require a linker support to link this stdio.h corresponding library file. Everyone guys, if you are watching this video guys, please like this session, which is very important for us. Like this session, right? If you are enjoying our sessions, please like this session and also subscribe to this channel if you have not done. Come on guys, do that quickly. So this is about the very important built-in header file contains only function declaration but not a function definition. The header file only declares functions. I mean, header file only contains all the declarations of the functions. The definition is present in the library file, which will be linked by the linker. Because it's a very important point for you. The example I've given, printf. The printf prototype is there in the header file, but it's a definition. The meaning is present in the library file. Okay, that will be executed at runtime, but not at compile time. Okay. So when the macro gets expanded, that before compiler invokes, just before lexical syntax semantic, the preprocessor invokes, that is called as preprocessing time. Okay, you can say that compile time, that's okay. If you are having preprocessor inside compiler, you can say that. So at the time of preprocessing, you know that, where the preprocessor invokes. Preprocessor invokes just before compiler. So all the macros are evaluated in the preprocessing time. Here all directives, including macros, all directives are invoked here. That is, before compiler sees any C code, all the as statements are deleted by the preprocessor. Now this is about the macros will be expanded during the preprocessing. So that's, we say file inclusion during preprocessing, macro expansion, that is also during preprocessing. These are the two main functionalities of preprocessing. Right. Okay. There is no strip.h, it's string.h. Rahul string.h. We will have a string functions there. This is a separate header file. Like you want to call in this, you have header functions like you want to compute string length, strlen function, you want string concatenation, you want to search within the string. So many string functions are there. So such functions are available in the string.h. Everyone guys? Okay. So this is about macros expanded during the pre-processing time. Fine. So there is a very interesting statement guys. You might not seen most of the macros statements are single line only. But you wanted to write in 2 lines, you must use the slash. So in general, how do you write this? Hash define, this is the constant, a message is a constant, and you want to write like hi comma welcome to C. Suppose you want to write like this. Okay, I think it's not visible. Okay, sorry guys. Okay, I'll write this side. Hash define message hi welcome to C. So you want to write in 1 line, but all the preprocessor directive statements are 1 line commands. They are 1 line. You want it to write in 2 lines. You want to separate. Sorry, I just want to delete this. You don't have that. Assume that you don't have that. Now this is your statement. This is a single line. This is a single line. Entire macro must be single line. Single line preprocessor command. Preprocessor statement. But you want to write in 2 lines. You want to write in 2 lines, then you must use like this. You can write this in 2 lines. Hash define message hi. You want to break somewhere, break that place, but put a slash so that it is going to concatenate both the lines into single line. Right? So this is a very interesting preprocessor command. Right? In generally, you can't end with semicolon. You can't write semicolon at the end of the preprocessor statements, and you should write in a single line. If you want to write in 2 lines, you must use a slash at the end of the first line. Okay. Similarly, you can expand. What is the difference between local and global variable? Guys, what is the difference between local and global variable? So I will stop with this. In the next session, tomorrow we'll have a very interesting question like storage classes and so many pointer questions tomorrow. And here I'm going to talk about the difference between local and global. Local variable and global variable. A local variable basically represented within any block. Local variables are declared within any block. They declared within any block, but this is outside functions. Outside functions. There are so many types of global variables, guys, within any block. I can say that, if I'm using a main function, let's say, I can write int x, anything, int x or static int x or register int x. Right here, what is this x called as? Local variable, local to main. This is local to main function only. Even you can write within the for loop also, but local to for. Within a main, and you can represent any block also. Block need not be main, it can be even if block also, you can use that. But when you have outside, like I have a main here, the global variables I can write int x here. Even I can write outside after also I can say int y. Look at that, guys. These two are global. Outside the function. This is also outside function. This is also outside function. This is also global. But that y cannot be seen by main, but x can be seen by main. and if you want to see it, then we will have other method to access that. Okay guys, so global variables are declared outside the functions in C language, and local variables are declared inside any function or any block. There's a main difference between local and global, but we require storage classes to understand what exactly local and global variable. Everybody guys? So local and global are two different types of variables here. Okay. Again, further we will have storage classes. I will be discussing tomorrow about more questions on variables. So today I'm going to stop here. We have so many questions about right. So many questions about the variables. I will discuss tomorrow guys, and today I am going to stop, but today I have another session at 7 p.m. that anybody studied theory of computation in the GATE examination, you can come to that, how to identify the languages. Like I am going to discuss about regular and non-regular, CFL, DCFL, and recursive, and REL, and then semi-decidable, undecidable. I'm going to talk about so many types of languages today. So on this spot, I'm going to create the language. I'm going to discuss with you how to understand the language, how to identify the language, okay, which might be important who are preparing for GATE. And tomorrow on Sunday, 1 p.m. will come back with the other few questions of placement in C programming, and 7 p.m. we'll have a practice on C programming for the crash course people that who wanted to understand what we have discussed in the previous classes, like loops, practice, and if-else statements, and variable state declarations, expressions. So I'm going to conduct some practice on C programming tomorrow at 7 p.m. So please attend the sessions on tomorrow, and please do not forget to like the session while leaving, and attend our educators classes that we are taking on this platform, on this YouTube channels, which will help you to learn the concepts who are preparing for GATE or placements. And this is already explained, and we have so many things are going on this channel: GATE batch, and that is a long-term batch, semester batch, and short-term batch, and placement batch. So if you are preparing for any of this, please try to continue and try to attend regularly, so that you will learn a lot from us. But sometimes once in a while we also have a disturbance in the schedule. That's okay, but we continue 99%. We don't cancel the schedule. So try to support us, and thank you so much for attending our sessions, and like the session while leaving this class, and subscribe if you have not yet done, and also share with your friends. And thank you so much guys. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Take care.